A Boy Who Was Traded for a Horse. James Saxon Childers. How did one man turn ordinary things into hundreds of remarkable products? The stooped old man moved along through the dust of an Alabama road at a curiously rapid rate. He was carrying an armful of sticks and wildflowers. The sticks I could understand. He would use them for kindling. But I had never before seen an elderly black man ambling along a road at 9 o'clock in the morning with swamp roses, wild geranium, and creeping buttercups mingled with a lot of dry sticks. When I got a little closer to him, I saw that he was wearing a saggy coat, which originally might have been a green alpaca, but which the sun had faded until I couldn't be sure about the color. There were so many patches that I couldn't even be certain about the material. The old man was walking toward a large brick building, one of the buildings of Tuskegee Institute, the famous school for Black Americans at Tuskegee, Alabama. His thin body bent by the years, his hair white beneath a ragged cap, he seemed pathetically lost on the campus of a great modern educational institution. At the entrance of the building toward which we were both walking, the old man turned in. He's probably the janitor, I told myself, and I'm sincerely glad that they've given him a job of some kind. I stepped into the hallway. I saw a trim little secretary hurry toward the bent old man. I heard her say to him, "That delegation from Washington is waiting for you, Dr. Carver." Dr. George Washington Carver, the very man I had come to see. Fantastic and unbelievable as it seemed, this old man with his armful of sticks and wildflowers was none other than the distinguished scientist of Tuskegee Institute, a discoverer renowned far and wide for his chemical wizardry in creating useful new products from such stuff as peanut shells and fallen leaves, which most of us waste and throw away. That saggy alpaca coat covered a Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, Honorary Doctor of Science, winner of the Spingarn Medal, member of the Royal Society for the Encouragement of Arts, Manufactures, and Commerce of Great Britain. Yet as I looked at him, studied his kindly face, and recalled what I had heard of the story of his life, I saw that the figure of the man himself was not half so fantastic or unbelievable as is the record of his achievement. Dr. George Washington Carver started with nothing. He never had anything. Yet out of nothing, he has created inestimable wealth for fellow human beings to whom he has devoted his life. Born a slave, he began life without even so much as a name. He never knew his father. He never knew his mother. To this day, he doesn't know just when he was born, though he figures his age at somewhere close to 70. Without a red cent, he worked out his own early schooling, then his higher college education, then postgraduate work for his Master of Science degree. All his life, he has been joyously at work with common, everyday things, making something out of nothing or next to nothing. During his 36 years in which he has been Director of Agricultural Research at Tuskegee Institute, that has been his work. And out of it have come scientific marvels. From wood shavings, he has made synthetic marble. From peanut shells, he has made insulating walls for houses. From the muck of swamps and the leaves of the forest floor, he has made valuable fertilizers. From cow dung, he has made paint. From the common, ordinary peanut, he has made 285 useful products, including milk, butter, cheese, candies, instant coffee, pickles, sauces, oils, shaving lotions, wood, stains, dyes, lard, linoleum, flour, breakfast food, soap, stock foods, face powder, tan remover, shampoo, printer's ink, and even axle grease. From the lowly sweet potato, he has made 118 products, among them flour, meal, starch, library paste, shoe blacking, ginger, ink, rubber compound, chocolate compound, dyes, molasses, wood filler, caramels. From clays of the earth, he has made non-fading paints and pigments. From worn-out, sandy soil, he has produced paying crops, something from nothing. And this is only a portion of his work. Experts say that he has probably done more than any other living man to rehabilitate agriculture in the South, and more still. Dr. Carver is also an artist, especially skilled in painting flowers. His paintings have been exhibited at world fairs, and at least one is going to the Luxembourg Gallery in Paris after his death. He makes all his own paints using Alabama clays. The paper he paints on he makes from peanut shells, and the frames for his pictures he makes out of corn husks. His work in embroidery and crochet has won prizes in various exhibits. He has woven gorgeous rugs with fibers he had made from cotton stalks. He is a skilled musician, too. He toured the Middle West as a concert pianist. And last but not least, he is an expert cook. His recipes are used today in some of the leading hotels of the country. All this does sound a bit incredible, doesn't it? I confess that when I set out for Tuskegee to see and talk with Dr. Carver, I was more than skeptical of many of the stories I had heard about him. And so, after he had entertained the visiting delegation from Washington, I returned to see him in his office in the big brick building, with many doubts lingering in my mind. He was sitting behind a desk cluttered inches high with letters and papers. On top of the papers were the sticks and wildflowers that I had seen him carrying that morning. As I went in, he was looking through a microscope at the stem of a wild rose. "I beg your pardon," I said. The old man raised his head and looked at me. Then, taking hold of the edge of the desk to steady himself, he pushed himself up from his squeaky swivel chair. He wore a long canvas apron that was splotched and stained. His gold-rimmed spectacles rested far down on his nose. Standing there so tall, despite his noticeable stoop, he peered over the tops of his spectacles and smiled at me. "Good morning," he said, and the quiet tone of his voice blended with the gentle sincerity of his smile. In slight confusion, then, I explained why I had called on him. "Do you mind if I stay here a while?" I asked. "I'd like to very much. That is, if I won't trouble you." "It will be a pleasure, sir. A very great pleasure to me." I was touched by his gentleness and by an unmistakable spiritual quality in the glow of his face. Frankly, I was confused. To open the conversation, I remarked on the numerous Maxfield Parrish paintings that hang on his office walls. "Somehow they seem a little out of place in the office of a scientist," I said lamely. "But can't a scientist be a lover of the beautiful?" he asked. "There is no one of the moderns who uses blue half so well as Maxfield Parrish uses it." And then he was off. For 45 minutes, he shuffled about his office, showing me how Maxfield Parrish uses blue, and telling me how the ancients used the color. Quietly, even humbly, he told how the Egyptians loved it, how they had adorned their homes and tombs with it. Then he led me from his office across the hall into his laboratory, a room about 30 by 20 feet. It was filled with racks and shelves and tables, bottles and tubes and retorts. He picked up a jar and carried it to the window. "See," and he held it to the sun. And I saw the richest, the purest blue that I have ever seen. Dr. Carver was talking quietly as he tilted the jar one way and the other, giving the sun its full chance to mate with the glorious color. "I believe," he went on, "that it's a rediscovery of the old Egyptian blue. A number of chemists have come to see it, and they agree with me. At present, I'm working on the Egyptian purple. I believe that soon we shall have that too. I get my dyes," the old man continued, "from Alabama clays. You remember what the Bible says. Dr. Carver has built his life on what the Bible says. You remember what the Bible says. Look to the hills from whence cometh your help. I did it. I looked to these Alabama hills, and I made these dyes from the clays that I found there, all these dyes and paints." He waved toward 36 boards, each of which was colored differently. All of them were made from Alabama clay. All, he added, except this one. It was made from rotten sweet potatoes, and this one, which was made from cow dung, and this one, a much finer paint, was made from horse dung. After I had been an hour in Dr. Carver's laboratory, after I had seen rope made from okra fiber, baskets from wisteria, and dyes from the dandelion, black oak, wood ashes, sweet gum, swamp mulberry, muscat, pomegranate, peanut, Osage orange, muscadine grape, onion, velvet bean, and tomato vine. After I had seen those discoveries, among a few hundred others, I was willing to believe almost anything possible to this kindly man, to whom apparently bricks without straw would be a simple problem. "When you do the common things of life in an uncommon way," Dr. Carver once said to his students, "you will command the attention of the world." In that sentence lies the secret of his own achievement. He was born in a rude slave cabin on the farm of Moses Carver near Diamond Grove, Missouri. Moses Carver owned his mother, and a neighbor owned his father. When he was a baby, 6 months old, night riders swooped down on his master's plantation and carried away a number of slaves, among them the baby and his mother. In their flight, the raiders took no care of the child. He developed whooping cough and was dying when emissaries sent out by Moses Carver retorts, containers used for distilling or decomposing substances by heat, arrived from Missouri to buy back the stolen slaves. But the mother had already been disposed of. No one ever learned what became of her. Indeed, there is only one thing of hers that is left. In Dr. Carver's room in one of the dormitories at Tuskegee is a battered old spinning wheel on which his mother spun flax when she was a slave. A friend of Dr. Carver's said to me, "I've seen him touch that wheel. He touches it like a priest reverently touching an altar." I sometimes feel that if I could be in his room when he retires, I should hear the old man say good night to that wheel. The emissaries sent to ransom the stolen slaves finally struck a bargain with the night riders. The baby was evaluated and traded back to his owner. He was traded for a broken-down racehorse worth about $300.